All right. And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out there in TV land, to another edition of the Jedi Academy, the stream where we do nothing but answer your questions about Star Wars Galaxy Heroes as we bring the best and brightest of Star Wars content creators and guests onto the show. And then we sprinkle in my brain damage into it as well. And this is just a straight Q&A show. If you've never seen the Jedi Academy before, welcome. We're glad to have you here. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe as you come in. You're more than welcome, especially if you like the content. But it's a Q&A show, and it's pretty simple. We have myself and a bunch of people on here. Whoever shows up, I leave it open to any content creator that wants to come on here. And we answer your questions. And how do you get a question answered? It's pretty simple. All you have to do is put your question into the chat and put the word question in front of your actual question statement and or comment that you want us to respond to and or answer. And that's it. That's all you got to do. It's not hard, but anything you would like to ask, you're more than welcome to put that into the chat. Good morning to CT Red Devil. Good morning to you, Contingent. Good morning, Bodie. Good morning to everybody. And so, yeah, so get your questions in. We'll go for a couple of hours. Today's schedule is going to be, we're going to go for 2 hours in the Jedi Academy. Right after that, I'm going to go do GAC. And we'll knock GAC out. I didn't do it last night because I was on the Old Man Cantina podcast last night. They asked me to be on before I did the Heinze stream, so I went and did that as well. Plus, I was hanging out with Ram, who was doing his big thing to see if he would have to shave his mustache. It immediately happened. He had to shave his mustache when we did the Heinze stream last night. Of course, we did the Heinze stream last night. If you didn't see it, good God, another mad night of shoeys and worms and all kinds of crazy, ridiculous stuff. And Heinze did quite well in GAC. Shocking, I know. Good afternoon, Adahan. So if you have a question, put those into the chat. Get those going in. We'll hang out with you guys for a little bit. And then, yeah. Anything else? Nope. You know me, I'm Ranger J 1999, and then that muffin over there is the very well, he's Aldous Sandfly. He be hanging out at the beach. Aldous Sandfly be joining us.
Hi there. I am. Oh yeah, no, I've not actually. Yeah, I haven't gone back to catch the Escape Podcast since he moved over to the Old Man Logan. I understand he's in my guild, the Death Star board designers. So yeah, he kind of is another of these people. Him and Calvin have kind of joined the guild, so it's kind of weird. You kind of have all these kind of people you kind of know, and so yeah, no, I've yet to go and catch the Escape Podcast. So no, congratulations still being on that.
Yeah,
And, yeah.
Yeah, so every other week,
one of the OG legends, one of the absolute OG legends.
Yeah, every other week they're doing SWGOH. The other week they'll on the Escape Podcast they'll do MSF, I believe, and then those in between weeks he's still doing his Old Man Cantina podcast. So, and I always have fun. They're both vets, and so you know, for me it's a lot. It's easy for me to go do that with those guys because I do that for anybody in the community. But yeah, it's nice. But yeah, Heinze stream was nuts last night. It was just absolutely just pandemonium. You guys are ridiculous. I think you guys just like to see us suffer because those shoeys, man, God almighty. Ended up doing 2 shoeys last night. It was something ridiculous. And then the worm is just the worm. No, I'm the only one that actually does the worm correctly, so it's like, okay. But it is funny to watch. Let me check something here.
You dropping frames or I don't know.
I was. Let me look at something here. Oh, it was for a second, but I think we're okay.
Yeah, it sounds perfect now.
Yeah, I didn't have the thing showing.
We can all still understand. That's fine.
Yeah. Continue says I won my channel points back. Yeah, we the over under. Heinze did quite well last night, even though he completely played everything ass backwards wrong. He still ended up somehow winning. So, oh goody. And Tumblo, the man with the best friend in the business, is here. Yes. Yeah, Heinze has improved, but yeah. The worm. Oh my god. All right, so yeah, we'll knock out GAC right after this, and I'll do that. Do that on Twitch. We'll do that on Twitch. I'll just knock it out real quick. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be one of those things where I'm just gonna get in there, do GAC, and then I'm chilling the rest of the weekend. It's Super Bowl weekend and stuff.
Super
So
excited. Super excited about. Yeah.
well, I mean, I enjoy the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? But I don't have any skin in the game because my team's not there. You know, and so it's like I just like a good game. I don't really care who wins or loses, but
It's normally
just
such a good game. I mean, what I like about Super Bowl as a sort of as a UK kind of person, you're not as involved with every single weekly round.
mhm.
But what they do a great job on the Super Bowl of just kind of the entire presentation kind of takes people from the right. I accept that no people that have never seen this game before will be watching. So they kind of have a good hour of kind of bringing people up to speed, explain the
Yeah.
vital matchups, and even no matter where you are in the world, the incredible content. I just love it, and it's such an event.
It is a spectacle. It's an entertainment spectacle. I mean, it's become something of a national. It is a national pastime here in the U.S. and around the world. It's really something crazy. The Super Bowl, the amount of views that thing gets, and we've been lucky because I remember growing up as a kid. Sometimes you'd have all the spectacle and stuff, but the Super Bowls would be blowouts, like awful. But since I would say 1999, most of the Super Bowls have been like really close because of the parity now that exists in the NFL, where you're not getting those. You get occasional one, and it's just the way it is, right? But for the most part, they've been really good games that come down to the wire or overtime, and it's exciting, and that's kind of what you hope for in a Super Bowl.
Well, I think when you have Peyton Manning, he's normally 24 points down going into the fourth quarter, but is still likely to win. So
You never know, man.
We went through a lot of that. So when you had obviously the New England Patriots that win it, but yeah, no, it's a great event, and it is a global event, and I kind of want to say that to the American people. Like the Super Bowl is one of those things that kind of marks your year a little bit. You might not really. I think the only thing is that I just don't really care who wins. I just care like for the spectacle. Anyway,
Because you have the halftime show with like and this year's Rihanna, who's going to be the Super Bowl entertainment, so it's a whole different thing. And it's why it's the number one sporting event in America. I mean, nothing tops the Super Bowl, and not even close. Not the NBA Finals, not the World Series. I mean, those are pretty spectacular, but they don't have the same gravitas as the Super Bowl. So yeah. I mean, Ray Rock, I mean, yeah, it's Super Bowl's a good excuse to get chicken wings. Yeah. I mean, my mom's not into football, but she's into the Super Bowl. She's going to cook corn dogs and chicken fingers and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, y'all enjoy that. Cause I can't eat that shit. All right, let's get into some questions here. Aldous, we'll wait to see who else shows up, and we'll pop in as we go along. So keep saying good morning. Let's see here. Bodie says, question, new raid rewards. Do you expect gear rewards or more currency so we can choose which gear we want? That's the one thing, Aldous, we had an epic drop of one of the top road aheads I've seen in a bit. I mean, a lot of it I already knew about. We've had some leaks, but I didn't expect the raid stuff. The only one question I have, and I'm concerned, is hopefully that they meet the needs or exceed them, is gear. Now, for currency, I don't know. One of the things that they could do, I was talking about this on the Old Man Cantina last night, is that we're going to get rewards. It's just a matter, does it equal or exceed what we got with all the other raids previously? Remember, because we were simming all those. And the other thing is, are they going to up the amount of like gear 12 or some of the other pieces? But the other thing I was thinking about is with the new point system, or is it going to allow you to have a little bit more flexibility with your gear? That's the one thing we don't know about, right? We just don't know about the rewards, whether shards or like for a new character for the new raid, or like how good is the gear going to be? Hopefully good, but I could see them all this using points as part of, like, you get rewards from your guild, you get rewards for your individual path, for the raid, and then you get points also that you can use toward gear. What do you think?
Okay, so there is so much in this. I think okay, so firstly, I couldn't be bothered reading the raid bit. I just skipped that. There's too many words. And on stream, we messaged Mr. Meathead and told him this was too boring. Can you TLDR it for us?
Oh, get the hell out of here.
And he turned up for the stream and sent us a TLDR. And he was in chat, which was great to see. I take back everything I say about Mr. Head not interacting with us. I think constantly CG, and anyone that doesn't think this, CG are constantly looking at the amount of gear that you get as an average and the amount of gear that you spend.
The gear economy is a big thing that they're very conservative about.
And they have these two dials, and they make sure those dials are balanced slightly in their favor, but not ridiculously. So I think I want to kind of, so the first thing is, will we be getting basic gear and whatever? I don't care too much about that, because I kind of know they'll balance that in a way that always makes you kind of need something, but you get just a little less than you need. And if you wait just a little bit longer than you want, you'll get it for free. So there's that side. I think the raid reward has to be a character shard. I think that's the only thing that people really actually want these days. I think and by that I mean getting access to Riva early is a huge advantage. And it's an advantage that no one else can it can't be bought, it can't be stolen, you can't get it for free.
Stolen.
Well, I mean, you can't cheese it, you can't beat it through mods, you just can't, it is something you physically cannot get unless your guild have done that. And I think they will in new content like that, I think we'll always end up with character shards. I think character shards will be the one thing people want. I think the other bit will be balanced in some way. They may start putting gear somewhere else. They might alter the drop rates. I mean, we never ever really see the Cairo drop rates, and we don't know if they can modify those. I'm sure they can, and they do. So I'm less I'm less into kind of the inverted commas gear economy, because I know that they are all over that. And I think it will be a character shard, and the character shard will be the thing that it's the thing people want, and I think they'll use the Crate Dragon raid to kind of make people farm Tuskens. That makes sense.
Well, they will in a sense, but I was looking at this because someone asked me my path now that the new raid's out, and I'm changing my path. I'm still relicking 7 my ass off right now, but like I'm gonna finish. I gotta get Treya. She'll be done today or tomorrow with Relic 7. Then I'm taking Canderous to Relic 7, but that puts me with Hut Cartel, the Mandos. I've got a couple Jawas and a couple Old Republic to get to Relic, and then higher relics, which I will do. And then other than Tuskens, which I'm looking at the new characters, we've got the new 2 new Tuskens, which we kind of knew was eventually going to get in there, and I'm glad to see it because Tuskens need the love. But I'm all in on Cal Kestis, man. So like I'll slow farm the Tuskens, but I've got all those other teams for the raid where I can do really, really good salt, especially with Jabba the Hutt. I mean, Jabba is ridiculous. If anything, people are asking, well, did I get the Tuskens or Jabba? I'm like, Jabba. Jabba is ridiculous. Jabba is a hell of a good GL, and he's phenomenal in the TB. He's phenomenal in Conquest. He's phenomenal everywhere.
I think the fact is we don't actually really know the mechanics of the raid.
Yeah, there's so much we don't know.
Knowing them, they're not going to make Jabba so overpowered that he is the one character that can basically get you a ton of points and none of the other teams matter. They will try and balance it out, and I think they'll probably kind of in some way not nerf Jabba, but they'll kind of make it a little bit like he doesn't do that much damage, or he's not able to hit the Crate Dragon, or they'll do something to it to balance it out. I think, but it is super exciting. It's good to see them work on it. Leaks or no leaks, don't really care. I think it's good, and it was a good road ahead. But I don't. I'm less, like I say, I'm less into the gear economy is such a difficult, busy thing that I know they're constantly.
Well, they're very timid when it comes to that because they do make
that's their money. That's their money.
That's especially for the relics and stuff. But we've reached the point of saturation, in my opinion, that if you want to make relics still a thing you have to invest in financially, okay, cool. I've always said that. But we've reached the point where you need to start upping Gear 12 because that is the big roadblock. They've done a great job through Gear 11 up to Gear 12, right? You can get to Gear 12. characters no problem, but those gear 12 pieces are such a pain in the ass to get. Like I'm farming a certain piece right now for the Jawas, and the drop rate is horrible. It's in ships.
I talked to some friends for a couple minutes.
Well, yes, you will. They're epic. It wasn't muted, but
Nice to be talked to.
But yeah, gear 12 is the line, because here's the problem with gear 12 is that you farm gear 12, you get a relic 0 or gear 13, whatever you want to say it is. You then have to refarm that same gear when you get to relic 5, 6, 7 and higher, as you have to salvage a lot of that unless you're going to save crystals, which a lot of people can't do, right? They're not in that position because there's so many farms that they have to spend crystals on, either Cantina. We all know about the signal data issue as well. They've got to start upping gear 12 for players. You know, I mean, getting to gear 12 is fine, but this game has progressed past gear 12. Everything is all about relics now. They've made it that way. You know, minimum relic 3s for datacrons, and the others relics that you have to be relic 5 for the new TB and stuff. It's a lot of stuff that they've got to start looking at. And you know, you don't want to do it touching things with relics, cool, but at least help us get to relic 0. You know, by, you know, doubling or doing something with gear 12 that, or more places to drop. I'm hoping the new raid allows us to get significantly more gear 12 for players out there, that can trickle down through the raids.
I mean, I'd never say, oh, look, you have to improve this, but my one weird feedback for them is that gear 12 has now become my blockage, because for a number of reasons. So obviously the get 3, we have to spend that because there's the cap.
Yeah.
So basically, we have to spend 6,000 or 7,000 get 3 every 2 weeks. And the best place to spend that for me is on the Zimbiddles and the
detectors.
The R6, R7 stuff that you can't normally get. So that's what I kind of do. And that kind of is and then you still got the gear 12 road speed hump, which you have to go over. So I find that when my characters are hitting through that gear 12, they get stuck at gear 12, take a week or 2 to get through that, and then I already have all the Zimbiddles, everything to take it all the way up to relic 7. So the weird, like, whereas you'd expect them to create a sort of a very even slope, at the moment, gear 12 goes like this, and then that means that relic is kind of easy. And if I wasn't farming Sana Staros, and I hadn't had so many things from the Cantina farm, I'd be knee deep in energy as well. So I think that yes, they do need to make that easier, but actually they're almost costing themselves. It's slowing us getting to relics, because when you get there, you almost are already well ahead of that, in my kind of opinion.
Depends on what your level is, right? For you and me, we're a little
signal data though is still a big stop.
Well, yeah, signal data that's even worse.
Cantina. I agree with kind of the salvage. The salvage has gotten a little better, but I will tell you, I just went Ray, and I'm over halfway to Java now. I tried to go into Java really quickly. I am tapped on the purple stuff. Like, you need, I'm down minus 300 of the med packs in the purple. And the other thing is, while it's better, there are certain pieces that we don't get, like the comm links.
Yeah.
And I still have a big issue with the gold eyeballs, because a lot of characters, they're now throwing like, they're 60 a piece, and like the final tier is like 3 of those. So that's 180. And you have some of those even on the lower, like 10 to 11. And then you have the one. So like some of those new characters now are like almost 300 of those a piece. I know you get those weekly a couple times, but like you only get a full one maybe once a week if you're lucky. So there are some crazy things that are still.
Yeah, the purple gear for, you know, because those are tough to get too, right? The purple pieces for all the gear.
There's no easy way to farm it. You have to buy it through shard shop currency, and the drop rates are terrible if you're trying to farm it with.
Oh yeah, those are really bad. So those are Chirotex, and that's another big one. That's a you know, Chirotex just ain't working, man. I mean, they've done a phenomenal job with stun.
You can buy those in a couple places, but that takes all your bonus tokens. But that assumes you have Cam and Hoda and Wampa and everybody else.
Yeah, you can use. Yeah, you can, if you are at that point, you can use your get, but it's only like, you know, 5 to 15 a pop, right? When you need 400 a pop on every new character.
Correct.
That's
Yeah.
really a slowdown.
Bosch,
And they're not
Bosch
going to
Leia was terrible.
yeah, and they're not going to change that because that's where again they're making people are investing financially on that, so they're not going to change Chirotex. But the reason there's always pushback on Chirotex is because of their initial saying like this will help tremendously with the gear crunch. Like, hell out of here. It doesn't help.
That was never the intention.
No,
the intention
good.
was just to create a. I mean, so I do like the Chirotex because they've actually created a very consistent, hill. So rather than move around from needing, like you say, I now need stun cuffs, I now need curvantes, I now need eyeballs, I now need this, I now need this, I now need this, I now need this. You actually just kind of constantly need Chirotex. They are the one thing that just kind of slows down your farming, and therefore you could actually kind of boil almost the entire gear crunch or gear system down to just Chirotex in, Chirotex out, which I think makes things a little bit easier to balance and a little bit less kind of out of sketch.
All right,
it's still signal data too, and if those were the only two things, that would be fine, because then you can use all your extra guild stuff and things, and then all your crystals kind of into that. But
I agree that signal data is a bit of an issue, but my kind of point is that Gear 12 is still so hard to get that, but almost by the time I get that character to Relic 1, I've already done a few assault battles and stuck 40 signal data in the back pocket. Like I'm getting an income of things, even though I don't necessarily really doing anything. I'm just kind of autoing a signal battle, an assault battle. I'm doing this, and then. So I think Gear 12 is the one bit that sits out of kilter with the others. Others are still bad, but I think
agreed. So it depends on how you're looking at it, right? If you're looking at you just doing a character like 1 to 3, you're right. Your income will do that, and you can do that every so often when this stuff's thing. I'm looking at it more because I don't have all the GLs. When you're trying to do a GL grind for that, though, you get tapped so fast because so many characters, like the starting point is 3, and then it just goes up. And so when you're trying to do that climb, it is a big thing. Like, so I'll give you example in between this, because I didn't finish the TIE Interceptor. That crazy what's that event called?
The Galactic Chase. Huzzah! The greatest event ever.
Chase, baby. I'm glad it glitched because I got double things, so I'm almost done with Scion, and I only need to do it 2 more times to finish both the ones I need for the Interceptor and Dad Bod.
Yeah,
but
proving ground.
Proving
ground.
Thank
Proving
you.
ground.
Yeah.
Let's not get into
But
that. Yeah.
this is what really hurt my thing. I had to win that. It took me over an hour to figure it out. I had to do Trail Lead, but I needed Scion and Nihilus, which were Gear 12, up to about Relic 3, right? And then I could also use them in GAC and stuff, which was a great thought. But that gear, just to move those up, has literally crippled my Java run, because I had to take just those 2 characters. It wiped out certain gold pieces, certain med packs, and that generic stuff I was doing. I could do it. I did it immediately to get through that heck, living hell that it was. It still took me a couple of tries to do it, even after I figured out that comp. But if you have to do that, I know it's supposed to get easier, but you have to do Trail Lead, the stacking stuff with Nihilist, and you just annihilate a sister, and then you can kind of do it. But I wish everybody good luck.
Yeah, the Proving Grounds was a disaster, man. It was such a bad. Oh, so bad.
How did anyone with 4 million do any of it? How did they get any of it?
I don't know,
Galactic,
man.
Even if you have a Galactic Legend or 2, most of them
I went in there with all my Galactic Legends because we had access to it,
right.
and I just got really angry because I'm like, wait, I have Relic 7, 9, all this stuff, 60 mods, and I'm going in there with these GLs and getting absolutely destroyed, right? The only one that I had luck with, and it's RNG.
Me too.
Is Jabba, and I barely did that by the skin of my chinny chin chin. And I'm sitting there going, wait, if I'm at my level, getting my ass kicked like this with this team, and even though they changed it out, it's still horrible because I've talked to people that says it's horrible. I'm like, what are you doing? This is a ship, a character that has been out for a while. Usually after a while, you know, in the normal mode, they go double drops, they get expedited. You're supposed to have access to it and make it easier for players to get. This is the total opposite of it. And I don't know who the hell came up with the idea that you want to put Riva in with all this stuff and make it crazy difficult. And your only change from seeing that is go, oh, well, we'll just take 7th out and put in Second Sister. And not really. No, that doesn't really help because people are still getting their ass kicked. And you mentioned Trey. Trey is fine, but a lot of people that are 4 or 5 million, they're mainly focusing on their GLs. They don't have the Trey team to go do that, right? They're very limited.
I didn't either. I had to relic it.
Yeah, and so if you can't beat it with a couple GLs, and I know a lot of these 4 to 5 million accounts, they usually have 2 to 3 GLs in their accounts because they're being very focused on what they're doing. If they can't beat it with a GL, what's their incentive for any of this? Because you've basically just kicked them in the balls. You don't. What, do you want to spend 2 hours hoping they get the right RNG with C? Get the hell out of here. That's just poor execution on CG's part, man. Really
it's not just Riva. It was that like health thing on her.
Oh yeah, it was all of it, man.
Because Malik doesn't work. Like you could have cheesed it probably with Malik, but they literally put an anti-Malik thing in there, so he was absolutely worthless. That's the real like kick in the balls.
Yeah, it was bad. That was really bad. Really bad, just misunderstanding of what players at that level that are trying to improve, and most people that are at that level that are trying to use proving grounds because they're newer to the game. They didn't have the teams to knock out the
they missed conquest, and that's the other
they missed
kick
the conquest. Yeah, they missed the conquest for those specific characters, right? And so they're trying to play catch up. So it should be easier for them to get those. If you want to make it challenging, great. But don't make it so ridiculous like this, where and that's so demoralizing for these players. I mean, it really is. All right, we got a lot of more questions here, so let's get to it.
I don't understand why proving ground isn't. They give you an R7 of whatever you're trying to get, and you practice using it. You know, like honestly, just like if I'm trying to get a certain ship and it's meant to be a counter for something, I should be going against what it's a counter for. And I should be using it inside its thematic team. I mean, by all means, let me use my versions of what I have, or make it slightly difficult, make me R3 across the board or something. But let me use the thing. I mean, because I think that Proving Ground should essentially be an advert for what you're going to get. It should make you want it. And just by running a trail lead against Inquisitors doesn't necessarily make me want a TIE Interceptor. Like, there's nothing there that makes me ever want a TIE Interceptor. It doesn't make any sense. So,
they're trying to get you to buy. This is straight cash, the way they set this up, and they're trying to make you want Riva because they know the Inquisitors. Most people don't either have them. I don't have them. I'm still farming them. They want you to gear them up, want Riva, want Grand Inquisitor, so that you get money. But that is brilliant.
No, but 90%.
I love that idea.
95,
That's so brilliant.
95% of people should never have seen that. Mm-hmm. We only saw Riva because it was bugged, and so I don't think. I mean, I don't think it was an advert for Riva because most of the people, I guess, that are on the Riva targeting already have them and probably already had that. But I don't know. It was another weird thing in a weird week where you have this bug thing that allows everybody to do it, then it's impossibly difficult or has one simple solution. It was just weird. It was weird.
All right, Scott Peterson questions: can a full Grand Inquisitor squad beat a Gas 5 first team? I have the Grand Inquisitor Datacron quite easily. Go in there and kick that ass. You have no problems. Low diff, dude.
Yes, sir.
Inquisitors, if you have Grand Inquisitor and everything, and you've got the Grand Inquisitor Kron, yeah, go have fun. Go have fun. Go kick its ass.
Go higher than Gas, man. Like, dude, kill something fun. If you have all that stuff, holy cow, you can almost take out maybe even a GL, like a Jedi GL, if it's down on defense.
Yeah. Kimmy Baby 1468 question: how to mod Maul in Star Killer? Maul's a little bit different, but Starkiller, we all know he's just straight damage, right? Because he gets called an assist a lot. You want him to, his basic will hit bloody hard. Get him around 10k damage, around Relic 7, roughly right around there. But with the combination, because it's EP Mara Starkiller that makes that team click, right? And so he's just call and assist. He just comes in and does his little big slap in the head, and then he's straightforward. Maul's different. You can go two different ways. I still run fast Maul with the speed set and stuff, but with offense mods, so he has good damage, but he's super fast, so he gets loose. If you have the offensive mods, though, they can get him 300 to 310 speed, where he does extraordinary damage. A lot harder to do because getting offense mods with those kind of speeds, because he's a little bit slower character, that's a little bit more difficult to do. But if you can't do that, then go speed set, get him like 350, but have the offensive primaries on those sets, and you can do some really good work with Maul. That's the way I've seen it modded. I don't know if you guys have seen anything different from Starkiller and or Maul, but that's pretty much how I've always seen those two.
I mean,
they're damage dealers.
I mean, yeah, they are. I'd say personally, for me, they aren't really characters that the modding. More importantly for me is strategically where you use them. Do you use Starkiller on offense, and can you kill a Rey? Or do you use Maul separate from Lord Vader or with Lord Vader, and who do you put with him to proc the second turn? Do you use Pia? Do you use like another Ufu in there, Nine Sister or something? So for me, yeah, Range is 100% right on the modding. Is exactly how you can mod them. But for me, strategically, the two of them are very good and important people for your GAC tactic. And whether or not you put them on defense, whether you put them in their own teams separately, whether you use them offensive, is maybe more the thing to research into and kind of look at your own roster, decide what you want to use it, because Starkiller is highly powerful as an offensive team.
All right.
I have offense sets on both of them, and then Hell's secondaries. I assume you can swap those two out. My Maul is almost 320 with a bunch of damage. The big thing about Maul is you need a character to start him if you're not having him with Lord Vader. So you need either Droideka, Watt, somebody.
Well, you need either that, or you need it for the team. Like say you're running Mandos, you need a very fast armorer. Yeah. That's why you see armorers at the speed that she's at.
I don't have her yet, unfortunately. I need to work out. She's on the long work list. Yeah, so I cheese it with one of those two usually. But yeah, you need to get him off, because once he gets off with that damage, I don't want to say his speed's not relevant, but he takes so many turns then, and then that starts to loop. So if you have him pretty good speed with all that damage, he just goes insane, and that's what you want to do. Yeah. The Star Killer team, I have a funny PSA for anybody who tries to take against Rey, Ben Solo. But yeah, I don't have much speed on him. He's all offense. That's what you want. Offense set, offense primaries. Heck, I probably have a speed thing on him, but honestly, you could put an offensive arrow on him.
Yeah, I do. Arrow. I mean, the right side pieces for me are all offense, and then the other side has secondary offense stats. But he's one of those characters like Jedi Knight Luke. It's all about the damage. It's like Fennec. Yeah. You don't need speed on them. It's all about the damage that they can dish out, right? Fennec is one of those characters that you want as much offense as you can get on her, because she's going to get call and assist. Yeah, it's all about that call and assist, right? It's like Dark Trooper. Yep. You want that big beefy damage to go in and knock the crap out of someone. So yeah,
One Punch Man.
Yeah, I love him so much. Kazakage TV's got a question. It says, since Tuskens are being great again, when do you think ETH will become great again? Of course you would ask that. I don't know if they're ever going to go back.
Only 3v3.
So it's interesting. So the Jedi faction is one of those factions where, how do I put this? Half of them are incredible, like they're so amazing, and the other half are just diarrhea. They're really bad. I mean, they have some niches, but there's quite a few that have just been left on the wayside. be interesting to see if they start going back eventually. And I've been wondering this for a while because there's quite a few Jedi that especially on the Jedi Council, that their kits are really old. They don't have a home. They just sit there. Plo Koon, Ima Gundy, Eth Koth, Luminara, that just don't have a home, right? Even if you get them high relics for whatever reason, they're just not as effective or as good as some of the other teams that you can put forth with Jedi, right? You're not sitting there when you're putting your Jedi teams together going, God, I gotta find a place for Eth Koth. So they need to redo either bring in a character that can, I don't know something that does something with the Jedi Council team where they could really do some good work, or revamp those kits. But yeah, they have really fallen to the wayside. I don't know what they do there, but I don't think they're getting any love anytime soon.
I think eventually Satele Shan is going to come in as a Conquest, and she'll take some of them. But I do wonder if is it Kyle Kestis who's coming in?
Yeah, two versions of him is coming in.
One's a Jedi, so
yeah, he'll be under JML.
Either lift or make a squad out of some of them. And we've seen with some of these new characters, they make really weird squads, like Asana Staros, taking all those weird leftovers and making something out of them. So maybe one of him does something. It'll also be interesting if he pulls together a bunch of the unaligned Force users with that version, and some of the marquees, and does something with them too. We'll have to see. But I think Satele Shan, whenever they get around to her, is going to pull a bunch of those council members. It makes so much sense because then there'll be a gear rush.
Yeah, I think she'll be. She'll be council. Maybe that'll be the character, but she'll also be Old Republic, and they need a boost too. The Old Republic, besides Jedi Revan team, could use some love. All right, next question from our good friend, longtime RSG OG Sir Loki. The locomotive is in there. Says
Loki.
He says, question: who leaked Crate Dragon Raid to Arnold? I don't know, but it's been a problem. Now, I talked about this last night. I've talked about it before because I've been asked this a lot. Like, there's been a lot. There's still leaking going on. Now, the reason the beta program died is because there was a leak by one of the beta programs, and there'd been an issue before. They ended the program. They had every right to be. I support CG's decision to end the beta program because of the leak. That being said, we're still getting leaks. Someone from CG now is leaking to somebody because we are getting a lot of this information ahead of time. It's just straight up.
Is it that, or is it data mining?
No, data mining just gives you some pieces that you can kind of speculate on, like what might come in, but it doesn't give you anything close to, like, it won't reveal anything. You'll just know that, hell, there's 4 new characters coming in. Well, what does that mean? Well, then you can start speculating, but it doesn't give specifics until like right before. And even then it's not, especially for the big stuff. But this stuff's coming out to, like, details about characters, the raid, all this stuff. We've been getting leaks for a while. I mean, people send me stuff like, well, did you hear about this? Did you hear about that? I'm like, here we go. Who's leaking? And I'm just like, if we're going to have leaks and it's going to be a problem, you might as well just bring back the beta program, because at this point it's like, what the hell? And someone said, well, what do you do about the beta program? I'm like, just pay them. If you want to really reduce the chance of someone leaking, you pay them, because that's financial incentive to not leak is pretty good incentive not to leak. That doesn't mean it won't still happen, but that's something you can do. But if people from because the only sources this could be coming from is the company, because you're talking to somebody who's giving this information, and then they're putting it out there in the ethos. Now, I don't know if that's intentional from CG or if it's unintentional. It doesn't really matter, but leaks are still happening. I don't know who's leaking. Not my job to find out. I'm not an investigative journalist to go digging into this stuff. I don't really care. It's still a big problem. I mean, we're knowing about this stuff. Like the road ahead, we had a pretty good idea of like the raid, and we knew Tuscans were coming. The only thing I didn't know about was the whole, the raid changes. That was one thing that nobody knew about. We just knew that there was a raid coming. We knew that there were some characters and who they were coming into the game. So I don't know. I don't know what they do, but it's a big problem. I mean, leaking.
I think I mean, okay, so I mean, a leak of something they announce 5 days later is. For me, I just think the road ahead should be fine. You know, like honestly, if you're working on a Crate Dragon raid, you can tell us a month before. You know, I think the problem is that by the time they get to right next Thursday, we're going to actually announce this in our road ahead inside an office. More people start to see this. More people start to see the artwork. More people start to see. So I just think a month before things come to the game or things are going to be announced, they could just move the road ahead a little bit more ahead. And I think the inverted commas leaks are really kind of maybe overheard at a coffee machine in the office rather than necessarily kind of leaking some hyper confidential thing that nobody knows about. In fact, it's as likely that CG needs to contact Disney or EA and say, "Oh, by the way, next Thursday we're going to announce our road ahead. Here's the copy for it. Are you okay with this?" And you could quite easily have the leak from a Disney side, or you know, I'm not saying that's how it's coming, but I think that's it doesn't even need to be within CG at that rate. An inverted commas leak that is so close to the announcement could be coming from a million sources.
But this information is coming well ahead of that. It's not 5 days. I mean, there's stuff coming out way weeks ahead of time, brother.
Okay, well, I didn't see the Arnold video until about 4 or 5 days before the announcement.
Well, yeah, that's when he put it out. But I mean, I'm just getting people messaging me saying things like, blah blah blah, and then I don't say anything about it because I'm just like, okay, cool. In the back of my head, it's like, okay, that's makes sense. We've been saying that's probably what's going to happen, and so I just don't really pay it any mind. But when I see that it actually turns out to be the thing consistently from the same thing, I'm like, okay, someone's leaking. Because that's my bigger thing, is that leaks are happening, and I don't really care where they're coming from. I mean, you gotta, but I think
it doesn't bother me. Actually, it doesn't bother me a lot. I don't really mind. It's a little bit like, hang on, you're giving a load of money to Arnold to put out his, oh my god, Crate Dragon videos coming, and one content creator, inverted commas, says this leak is coming, and therefore they make money on a video, which seems kind of like the one thing that maybe CG would kind of, well, hang on, maybe that money, maybe that glory should be in our pocket. Why am I going on to a different presentation and making the announcement, or why am I putting on, I don't know. It's a strange one. But yeah, I don't understand why they get so many leaks and why they can't kind of look more kind of.
I don't know. I mean, I just don't.
Into it.
I don't know, but that's not our concern. If the leaks are going to happen, hey, it's fine. I'll know about it before time. I mean, don't bother me none. So yeah. Sir Loki, well, he's got a few questions in here. It says, question: since we're getting 2 Cal Kestis, the Survivor version has 3 TV Omnis. What game mode would you want the other Cal Kestis to have Omnis for?
GAC, please.
I mean, it would make sense for GAC. They could do I thought someone said TW, that he might have a TW Omicron, and I'm like, oh, that's fine, because I know there are people out there that like TW Omicrons. I know, I was a big one on TW Omicrons. I mean, if they're gonna do one for TB and that's Survivor, then the other one, I think the other one could, well, they have a little flexibility on that. They can go GAC, they can go TW. Hell, they could go raid if they wanted to. I don't know if that would be advantageous, but I don't know. What would you want for, Scrapper Cal Kestis Omni to be, guys?
I don't care about GAC, so that's
I don't care about GAC. I don't think you'll get one.
You may not.
Well, I think so. I mean, it makes 100% sense for Merrin to get one to buff up the Night Sisters. I think we expect ordinary Star Killer is an Ufu, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not going to be a Jedi. So the first Star Killer is an Ufu. The second one will be a Jedi. Is that the way it works?
Cal Kestis, yeah.
Cal Kestis, sorry, yeah. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, I think that Merrin will get one, and the Merrin will buff up Night Sisters. who we don't even know where the other ones are, to be honest. I guess we can guess.
Oh, we'll
I
wait
don't
till they
know.
come out. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, if I say
I'm
anything, either TW or GAC would be fine for me. I'm happy either way, for Scrapper. Um, but if it's TW, I'm less likely to put it on because I do have a few TW Omicrons, but it's mainly GAC. But I mean, all my Omicrons, because that material is so hard to get, is I'm saving right now for Reva because I'm in the Reva game right now. So I've got 3 to put on her, and we know how ridiculous she's going to be. So, for me, Cal Kestis is a little bit down the line for. I'm going to go for him. Trust me, I'm going for Cal Kestis. But do I really want to put 3 on for TB? Maybe, but I mean, for where my guild's at and the star level we're at, if he pushes us to the next level, then sure, I'll think about putting the TB Omicrons on. But we have to look at them individually, right? We always look at each of the Omicron abilities before we go putting them on, because like Star Killer only needs his Force Unleashed, or there's much conflict in you ability. The other 2 are nice to have, but you don't really need them. Some characters like Malgus, you should put all 3 the Omicrons on. So we have to look at the individual
the
abilities.
one thing I found very strange about Cal Kestis was that, I mean, it's very strange to kind of give us Cal Kestis as a requirement for Cal Kestis. So
It's different.
It kind of makes me think that Cal Kestis was actually in their back pocket and might have been a leftover model from the Star Killer work or something like that, and or something weird like that, because it just seems weird. I mean, I think a lot of people expected Cal Kestis for.
It was.
I think he goes back.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Sorry, Scott.
No, I
it was
think
probably when the other game characters came out for Star Killer, and because if you notice, they're putting out a lot of stuff that had models, which is breaking the game hilariously. Like I had a Fleet Arena where the Falcon wouldn't dispel anything, like 4 or 5 days ago, which is hilarious.
Yeah, they had that.
But
bug.
but and it happened around the time when they were doing the stuff. They didn't know that the spider guy was already in the game, and it messed it up. It also messed up my GL Ray farm. I lost the final thing for the ultimate shards 4 straight times, and it was right around that time Trench was getting loaded. And so I think you're right. All this, I think they're taking a lot of these things. That's why I think the Ravager is coming, and I would not be surprised if we get Death Star raid eventually in this revised format. I think they're taking everything they've done work on and are going to rejigger it and release it.
I think Cal Kestis was originally planned something with the Inquisitors because 2nd and 9th are tied to him so much, right? But I think they put it in the back burner, and I thought he was going to come out in December of last year, right, around the holidays. But they went out their Afro route leading up to the holidays, right, for the new TV and stuff. So they're now just introducing him. So I'm like, okay, just delay. But we kind of knew as soon as we saw 2nd and 9th, we knew Cal Kestis was around the corner. I mean, that was pretty much, those 2 characters from that game, and we're just in there going, okay. I got
Can
you.
I say something about the Omicrons real quick?
Yeah, quick. Go ahead.
I think Marin, there's already a Night Sister one on, which one is it? Venturous, which is great in GAC. I think hers is going to be something else. I do think Cal Kestis Jedi, there's like almost no Jedi Omicrons. I think the only one is Qui-Gon Lead. His may be for GAC as a lifter to Jedi units. That would be my thought. Scrappers probably is wherever it is.
It could be.
Was it TB or TW?
Yeah, it could be. We'll see what happens. So, Ray Rock question: why is some of the purple gear like MK6 med packs can't be requested through donation? That has been the bottom for years. I have no idea. That it's Gear 12, man. They're just being ultra conservative on it, man. They're so scared that here's CG Sphere, and we've interviewed and talked to them about this, and I've gotten this answer. They're terrified that if they go too far with any gear and then have to take it back, the community is going to go bananas, right? You can't do that. So they've been incrementally trying to slowly bring it in because they're terrified that if they go too far and they have to pull it, right? They have to go back and say, oh, this is too much and we got to change it. The community is going to lose their minds. And so there's
oh, come on. They would never pull back like an Omicron or something, would they? That
Oh
would
no, they
be
would never do
lunatic.
that.
Certainly not like about a week after they launched the damn thing, and they went, oh god, we'll pull that back. Yeah,
that's the reason why. And there's certain things like why are ships not expedited? I have no idea, but it's mainly just money, and I think the gear is related to this too. It's money. You can't give that gear, but I think for gear 12, it's about time they start stepping it up a little bit. If you're gonna make relic the end game and high relic the end game, you're gonna have to start doing some stuff for gear 12. It's basically the purple, the gold pieces. They've got to start being expedited because people can't get there any faster than what you roadblock them to do. Even if you spend, it's still slow. It's very slow unless you spend a fortune, and a lot of people can't. They're willing to spend, but they just can't spend that kind of money. So yeah. Ray Rock question. Another example is the MK2 Nubian scanner, only able to request 2 instead of 5. CG needs to update the request donation limit and add list of gears can be requested. No, I think that's overdue. It's been a long time since we've had gear requests. I definitely agree with that they need to look at it and update it. I don't know overhaul, but update it for the gear that you can give to players. I think that would be fine.
It's a dangerous mechanic because it does allow you potentially to move an account into a guild with 49 farming accounts who all then gift 2 of something to that one person and then move that account back to where it started. And I know that's a crazy kind of situation, but yeah, the gifting in game it's a nice mechanic, but it's one with a lot of dangers that probably they might be better, and I know this is going to be controversial, but better to remove it than actually kind of review it, or leave it where it is. I think that's why it's restricted, is it's quite open to abuse. Anyone that's ever played Football Manager, you take over your opponent with a different manager, you sell all their best players to yourself, and then you bankrupt them. You potentially run into that world.
All right, next question from Nobody Cares. Says, question, did Van Seal take over CG? All of my bounty hunters are all relic 5 or greater. Only faction with 7 plus characters that are all relic. Yeah, but it's not a bad place to be, man. Bounty hunters have really stepped up, and they're a phenomenal faction. Between they're just really good. And with Hut Cartel now being a thing, yeah, bounty hunters are dope. But I mean, between the Executor and then everything that they've been involved with, Hut Cartel and everything, they've kind of got their boost. But I like that. I think bounty hunters are a fun faction to play. I mean, whether you're using Fennec to 5-step kick somebody to death, or the annihilation from disintegration from Mando, they're just a lot of fun to play, man. And they're a really good faction to have for a lot of things. They do quite well in TB. They're okay in Conquest, but that's just Conquest. But having that team that you can go in there and beat the crap out of a lot of teams with, especially with Fennec. They have ships now, and their ships are quite powerful with the Executor, so it makes a lot of sense. Maybe Van Seal did take over. I don't know. Maybe he did. Van Seal taking over CG. All right, our priority for this year is bounty hunters. What bounty hunters do we not have in the game? Let's go. And then next year. All right, sir, we got all the bounty hunters in it. Let's think about some more bounty hunters. Let's look through Legends and see if we can get some more bounty hunters in here. All right. Bodie says, they have done 5 ground releases per quarter for the last 5. With the RA, they already named 7 coming up on top of 2 already released. Do we need some breathing space to focus on our rosters? No, they're not going to do that. So if you think about it with what they're doing, we have the 2 new Tuscans. We got the new Legendary announced. We know the GL is going to be announced here in the next few months as well. So it's intentional. It's either you're going to spend a fortune to get these characters to keep your roster up, or you're going to be specific on who you go after. But it also is a resource strain, because if you're going for Kestis and then they announce, say, like GL Leia, there you go. And it's that pressure they like to put on you for characters. So they're not changing a damn thing. This is very strategic in what they're doing. So,
I think you got to be careful, though. I mean, like, I like the fact that people are now choosing directions and people have so many different things that they can have the option of farming, you never again speak to the same person who's farming like in exactly the same direction. They're all going in different directions, which is very healthy, and I love that because it means that GAC and the rosters have become very different, which I think is fantastic. I think the only thing I would guard against is it does kind of slightly create some ambivalence towards people like Dr. Aphra, because so many people don't have her. So you don't really see her very often or hear about her very often. So I think there's got to be, it's healthy to have lots of stuff. I'm reminded of when they were spamming a lot of omicrons into the game, and you've met different rosters with different omicrons. They've kind of stopped that, unfortunately. I wish they'd restart it. But yeah, so I think there's a balance. But yeah, I kind of like them spamming lots of characters in the game. I think it's good.
Well, they do have to be careful because you don't want to oversaturate. They did that in 2018 and we lost our minds, right? The great marquee dump of 2018. Oh my God, that was ridiculous.
But they need new characters for new GLs. I mean, the fact is there's physically not enough characters to keep pushing GLs into the game.
The Leia will be Rebel, and they're going to introduce, like they did with Jabba, 3 or 4 characters that will not be out by the time she's released, like they did before, because they saw how well that worked for them, for those that really wanted the character they spent. So yeah, that's what they're going to do. So we'll see some new Rebels coming into the game, or whatever faction they decide to go with the GL. You'll see it. It'll be about 10, 11 characters you already have, or that are in the game already, and a ship, right? That combination, and then 3 or 4 new characters that you have to get if you want the new GL right away. So it's intentional. So we've seen this pattern quite a lot lately. John Moran question: since it looks like more video game characters are on the way, when do I get my Merida Sora? 2027. That's the answer. 2027. We have no idea. Your guess is as good as ours on that one. All right, let me scroll down. Let's get some more questions in here. Boy, we got a lot of questions today. Hold on. Damn, thing's messing up. If I miss a question, just pop me again and I'll ask it again. Kazakagi, but it's too easy. This question: should I Relic Cup or Gar Saxon? Gar Saxon. I hate to say it. That's ship, and he's actually decent on the Mando team somewhat. So it's Gar Saxon. I don't think anybody here on the panel disagrees, do we? Don't you just feel wrong for saying Gar Saxon? Oh, God.
I think the fact is just don't do any of them. Just sit on it. Just don't bother. Just take a break.
Yes, meow meow. I did say meow meow. Say your name all the time. Richard, what's up? He says, question: next road ahead is in April. Are we thinking a GL announcement at that time? I would think so, because it's right around the corner from May the 4th, and we got Celebration coming up. Yeah, I would be shocked if they didn't. They may wait, right? We may not get a GL announcement on the road ahead, but I think they want to use May, the whole shit that goes on with May as as like the announcement. We may not get her for months afterwards, but I think they're going to announce her. What do you guys think? Or well, they'll announce a GL. I keep saying it's Leia, but
it depends. It depends. I mean, I think they had a very great success with Starkiller come to the game, and they are repeating that almost 12 months later with Cal Kestis, and it looks to be kind of the same cadence, same plan. I guess it depends whether they deem the Jabba launch as successful. I don't know. I think they'll probably put another GL, but I do notice the fact that they've suddenly gone Dr. Aphra as another Starkiller-esque type launch, and maybe they're actually moving slightly towards that as a more preferential, kind of more money-making. Will give people shorter bang for their buck, so there's only 3 or 4 characters that the people need before you get that great team. Maybe. So I mean, I'm postulating they might be moving away from GLs as being their go-to money makers, and they might actually be seeing these shorter-term Star Killer type S characters as being the more favored approach. So,
yep. John Moran, what's up, buddy? Question says, is there an easier way to get omicrons? I seem to be able to grind one out of every 2 or so months. No, there really isn't. I mean, they're very hard to get. The get 3 is, oh my god, awful. The random drops in Cantina, and other than that, where else can you get them?
assault battles. You get 2 from assault
battles, and then if you get you get a couple, I think. Well, you get more if you get the 9.99 pack in Conquest. You get an additional Omicron or 2, I think, from on top of the Omicron that they give you. So other than that, no. I mean, that's when it's like they gotta, and the drop rate in Cantina is just, I mean, yeah, you're farming signal data and you need signal data, but like I go days without seeing an Omicron drop in Cantina, and then I'll get 2, and then I'll go another week without getting any Omicron. So you can't reliably count on getting any kind of Omicron out of Cantina. And the other places, as we said, Conquest, get the assault battles, that's about it. So you can't make it go any faster. So you have to be strategic about, where you put these damn things and where, how you use them. It's kind of frustrating, but I mean, I'm hoping that Omicron's reached the point like Zetas did, where it's like, okay, let's just increase it. It's time, but they're not doing it. So I don't know. My friend. I wish I had a better answer for you, but there is no way, unless I missed something in chat, somebody will say something. But yeah, like I've got 38, and I've been at 38 for about a week now. I haven't picked up or I just got 2 more, so I was at 36, and the last, thing gave me some, but that's it.
Yeah, Ray Rock's correct. I mean, you're 100% right. Yeah, Galactic Challenge. It's the events thing.
Yeah.
The Galactic Challenge where you get them. But yeah, that for me is the place I tend to get them relatively easily.
Question: if you get a lightsaber in the pee hole, can you still have children? Yeah. You still, it doesn't affect the baby making process. You're fine. So it's an old joke from Archie. Don't worry about it. Sword of the Jedi. Yes. What else? 23 question. This just in: Jedi Beyonce Cal will be leading Kit Fisto, Eth Koth, Jedi Guardian, Jedi Council to victory against all opponents. Sure, let's go with that. What else?
Well, what else might be quite close? I mean, we are also getting Siri. And if they are mimicking the Star Killer, remember that none of those people end up on the same team. So it is likely we end up with Merrin on a Night Sister team, and Seri and potentially Cal Kestis, who won't be a Jedi, but Seri should be a Jedi. She'll probably end up with random Jedi you never expect. So you might end up with her being the leader of those people, weirdly enough.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. John Moran question. I'm working on the Inquisitor faction, almost to where I can get the Grand Inquisitor. Which one should I bring to better rug levels? 9th Sister for sure. 9th and 7th, I think, are the 2 that you really want survivability and stats on, because they do such good work. The other 3... 5th Brother's not a bad shout out either.
Have to do 5th. Have to do 5th.
5th's a really good one too. So those 3 for sure. 2nd, 8th, you can leave them at Relic 5. Just put God mods on for the Grand Inquisitor event. But anything, get your tank up to Relic 7. You got to take them up to Relic 7 anyway. But if you're going to go in order, I would say probably 9th first, 5th, 7th, and then the other 2, when you can. But I mean, 9th for sure. She's got to take that hit. She's got to make her as beefy as hell. And then 5th, that's really good work, and so does 7th. The other 2, I mean, 2nd is just your damage, and so is 8th in the sense he just does his thing. But yeah, if I was going to go in order, it's always tanks for me, and especially the Inquisitor. And having done that event, oh god, oh boy, the more relics you can have on them, if you can have them all Relic 7 when you go in there with your mods locked in and stuff, dude, you're gonna have a much easier time than I did with Relic 5, even with God mod. But you're still gonna struggle with that event because the RNG on that is pretty nasty. It can be gross. It could really make you pull your hair out. So you just got to grind through it, man. So Godspeed to you, my son.
I did him to 7th, and actually this week I do my 5th brother to R7, who's my last one. And I managed to get a Reva shard. And I hadn't previously taken Fifth Brother. He was stuck at R5, so I'd been failing the Reva mission. The Reva mission's impossible without Fifth Brother, or at least it used to be, as far as I can tell. So yeah, don't miss out the Fifth.
Next question from Kazakage, but it's too easy. It says, question, where can I get a prescription of copium for mod depression? From any dealer on the street. I mean, you know, whatever you can find. I don't think you can get it prescribed to you.
Weirdly, with all the new things, the way you can attune it, you can do it. I've actually had a little bit better luck with mods.
I really like what they did with mods.
Great, but
yeah, but I've really enjoyed all the changes they did for mods. It really has opened up a lot of, you know, an opportunity to go back and work on characters and work on, like I just did Vader. I went back and finally was able to slice his mods and didn't hit one, so I was able to recalibrate it, got him to finally the speed that I wanted him at with the mod set I wanted him at. So it's been nice. I do like the mod changes. Again, as I said, we're always fair with CG here. When they do good shit, we give them credit. And the mod changes were fantastic. It's still a little bit of RNG, but you know, at least it gives you an opportunity to go back and work on those mods that maybe you just missed. Especially like when they're 60 and they hit 4 hits of speed, and you're like, oh come on, give me that 5th hit of speed, baby, let's go. Or you're trying to hit that big offensive percentage, you know. So I like that thing. It's a slow process because it takes a while to get the material, but as you get the material, you know, as long as you've got a game plan, you can go in and be very strategic about which mods and mod sets you're going for to recalibrate and slice and stuff. So yeah, all of it's really good. I really like it a lot. I like the new system.
Slightly less depression is my vote.
Yeah,
I don't talk about Vader. That's the one mod I totally failed on.
Yeah, so you still get those, but at least you can try to go back and fix it. So it's still, it gives you a little bit of hope. And for the most part, I get a pretty decent hit of speed on those mods.
But like I doubled the amount of. Nope.
What's that?
Oh, you stopped and went really fast.
Okay, go ahead.
I've doubled the amount of 20s I have, so I can't say anything bad about it. Good job, CG. It works.
The engineer question, is there a bug in Fleet Arena? I just did Profundity Mirror and took out enemy Y-Wing, but it revived with full health and protection.
Whoa.
Ooh, I didn't know about that. I have not heard of that one. That's not good. No, I have not even heard or seen about that one. That sucks. You may want to report that, brother, because holy that's not good.
Bad.
That's really bad. That thing's hard enough to take out normally.
I just had the Falcon not dispel stuff for.
Yeah, we had that bug, but no, I didn't. If that just happened, brother, you may want to report that because that's not good. Oh my god, you imagine you get ahead on the RNG, you kill the Y-Wing, it comes back with full health and protection. That would suck. Yeah, I would not be happy. God almighty. Oh Lord. Yes, you may want to report that. I have not heard or seen anything about that, man. Holy shit. That's not good.
And just to clarify, by report it, you mean stand out at his window, open the window, and just shout, "I've got a bug"? Is that the standard reporting?
Might as well.
So that's the current CG reporting process, I would say. I mean, literally. Put it in an envelope.
Carrier pigeon now.
Write it on a bit of paper, screw that bit of paper up and toss it in your local can, and then you've reported it.
I prefer pigeons. Yeah, I prefer pigeons. I think it's a little bit more civil.
Well, actually, is there actually a way to report things?
Yeah, you can go to, is there EA forum? There's a bug forum you can go and post bugs on.
Is there?
Yeah. Okay. It's been out for a long time.
I'll go and put a picture of my GBA on there. I've got a bug.
Don't do that.
See how long we last. Okay.
Of course, you're going to do that. All right, dark side question for the panel: if you were a Force user, what would be your saber style? Personally, I would be double bladed. Well, I got to go with my boy Darth Revan. I got to go two sabers, man. I got to be the two saber guy. Just for my boy Darth Revan.
I got to do two double bladed. You know.
Oh, you're gonna be one of those guys. You're gonna grow two more arms and be like, what's his name?
Oh no! I mean, I'm all double bladed, but
oh my god, you're gonna cut your head off, dude. Oh my god.
I love the Ahsoka Tano. I love her stance. I love her style.
Yeah, it's a combination. So most Force users will have a main style, but they have other styles that supplement that style, right? You can go into the different forms. But like, and some master all of them, like Yoda, Sidious, they were masters of all the different lightsaber forms. They just had their own unique kind of one. But like, you know, Kenobi, for example, he was Form 3. He's the Form 3 master, right? But he also had some of Qui-Gon's teachings and some other things that he used in his style. It kind of his own style, but the different forms. But yeah, the two lightsabers for me would be the play, man. You know, represent Ahsoka, represent Darth Revan. Someone's got to do it. I'll do it. All right. Any other questions right now? Let me look here. We're well past the top of the hour, so make sure you guys stop what you're doing, hit the thumbs up and everything. Subscribe.
Have you ever seen the
all
video
crap.
where they took Game of Thrones, where they were at the Tower of Joy?
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
put lightsabers in the
Yeah.
guy.
They do that stuff all
That's like
fights all the time. Yeah.
It would be great if that actually happened in a Star Wars thing, where we actually got to see someone use two sabers, because I don't think it's really. I can't think of it actually happening.
Well, the two saber form is very rare.
Only Anakin when he stole
Yeah, but that was just him.
Obi-Wan's against Dooku, right?
Yeah,
That's the only
but
time I can really
in
think of
Rebels they really show and well, anytime they've had Ahsoka in there, you see like in Mando season 2, we saw her using her blades.
Oh yeah,
you
she
saw
did,
it in the
definitely.
fights that she had with the Inquisitors, and then Vader was an epic fight with how she uses her. She uses a combination of the two-bladed lightsaber. She also uses, I think it's form 5 or 6 or form 4. I can't remember. I don't have them in front of me right now. My brain's it's too early in the morning to be thinking about lightsaber forms. But she's also uses the acrobatic forms of lightsaber techniques with a combination of her two-bladed as well. Revan was the opposite. Revan didn't do all that flipping and shit. He was just like swing, kill, block, swing, kill. He just walked through people, and it's just like dink, 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 cut, dink, 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 cut. You know, it's like, I'm loving the deep fake Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon reviewing the movies and shows right now. Yeah, you could go double bladed. We actually, Kazakage, I just created XR Kuna in Star Wars The Old Republic, you know, because we do that with the boys. On Tuesdays, we do Old Republic. And so I created a character, XR Kun. He's double bladed lightsaber with the blue blade. And then my apprentice, Rambam, will play Ula Quildrema. And we will go through and conquer the galaxy as Jedi like they did. So, yeah. Hey, what's going on? God damn it, Bobby. Glad to have you here. Boys been sniffing too much propane. Yeah, we did a whole lore series on lightsaber forms. I've been very specific, and the new lore video will be out tomorrow. So it'll be out tomorrow, Sunday, so you guys can listen to that for the Super Bowl. If you're looking for something to listen to while you're waiting for the Super Bowl to come in, I'll launch that tomorrow.
And
Patreon
Sith again.
Yeah, this will be the
Sith
third
part 3.
Yeah, Sith
so
part 3.
I mean, again, controversial putting Darth Lord's Jar Jar Binks in there as the Sith.
I don't think that was ever a thing we did. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, I was there.
It was a controversial thing you've done, and I think
don't remember doing it. Yeah,
finally give Jar Jar his full form. Yes, I think Sith Lord Binks will be probably the best.
Don't think I've yeah, I
it's
don't
in
think
there.
it was
It is
not mentioned. Yeah, no, it was not something I covered. Yeah, when you get into the Sith lore, it is so rich and just, oh my god, you can only cover so much for so much of a timeline. So if you haven't seen the other ones, I start with Darth Revan just because he's my favorite character, just to kick us off. But then I'm like, okay, I need to get a basis for everybody. So we covered the Force. Where does it come from? Its origins, kind of a history of the Force and some of the things tied into it, the different philosophies of the Force. Then we did lightsaber forms because, people need to understand when we say they're a master of this form, what does that mean? So they can go back and have that knowledge. Like if you listen to the podcast in order, you have a good idea of what's going on. And then we've been doing the Sith, and I think Sith is the most fascinating lore you can look into it. It's so deep and rich, and they've done so much. If you look at the legend material, there is so much shit on these characters, it's ridiculous. And I just have to cover the main points because you can go hours into the lore with each of these timelines, and you talk about the Old Republic. I mean, you have to break the Old Republic down into like segments with who was the baddie at the time, which is the Sith Lords, because it's ridiculous. Oh God, Helenex is here. God, hang on, everybody. Helly just showed up. Says good Saturday morning, everyone. Work was a slog today, and I wasn't able to get here until now. Well, you know, Helenex arrived precisely when he means to, Frodo Baggins. So glad to have you here, buddy. Question from What Else in 3. So what Ranger is hinting to us is that we'll be getting a GL Darth Jar Jar within the next year or so, but he can't tell us outright. No, that's not going to be a thing I'll ever cover. No, yeah. Yeah, Arturo.
And,
simultaneously,
we found out who's leaking. It's Rangers leaking GL
yes,
Jar Jar.
Yes, it's me.
It's quite clear.
Yes.
It's in the lore videos.
Yes.
Yeah. And what time is that tomorrow? That's about 5-6 hours before the Super Bowl.
I'll launch it like in the morning my time, like 11 or 12. I'll get up, I'll set the time, and you guys can go in there and enjoy the lore series. So, and keep supporting that, because I know a lot of you guys are enjoying it and getting good views on it. So keep that up, and leave comments. It's important, you know. Just for today, we're gonna keep going here for a little bit. I'm gonna end the Jedi Academy a little bit early so I can go get set up for. I have to go jump on Twitch. We're going to go do GAC with me and Boss and whoever else wants to hang out and show up. Knock that out real quick. And then I'm going to take a break because I'm still recovering from the Heinze stream. And then I'll be on tonight with everybody for D&D. So that'll be a lot of fun. We'll get D&D in tonight. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. And if you haven't seen this series, you can go. You know what the Super Bowl is, Meow Meow. Even you know who the Super Bowl is. I know it may not be your thing, sweetie, but it's what you know what that is. Don't even play. So yeah, you'll get, and we've got playlists for you guys, so you can go watch. We've got the playlist set up for the Overplug with the boys. We've got one for the lore series. We've got D&D set up, so you can go back and listen to all the D&D streams. So you got a lot of stuff there. Bobby says Ranger's no longer a master baiter. He has broken out of the Empire. Yeah, that's how you want to look at it. The large bowl of clam chowder. That's the Super Bowl. Go back, some clam chowder. I'm gonna go get me some pole moles. I'm gonna need to watch the Super Bowl. I'm all dried in my throat from smoking and drinking. Oh, I need a 40. All right, get your questions in. We're going to go for about another 20 minutes here. As I said, we're going to wrap up a little bit earlier today just because I got to go get some other stuff. Oh, who doesn't love clam chowder? I love me some clam chowder. And if you've not had real clam chowder, especially like if you're in the Northeast region of the United States, especially around Boston, oh, it's so good. It's so delicious. I love it so much.
And a lobster roll.
Tumblr, did you see the George Lucas 2001 and Kubrick Star Wars? No. I'll go look it up now. Yeah, but everybody will do their betting and stuff on the Super Bowl. Yeah, whatever. I said I just want a good game. I don't care who wins. You know, if Mahomes win, great. If the Eagles win, great. I don't care. Yeah, I'm getting tagged in Discord. What's going on? It's probably Carth yelling at me. Nope, we're just getting ready for phase 6. So we should hit 36 stars. So that'll be nice for this TB. Today's the final tomorrow? No, what phase are we in?
We're just starting in a minute. The final day.
Phase 6, right? Yeah, final day. So really, it's just
almost final day. Yeah, final day in 40 minutes.
So. I was a little hesitant. I couldn't only do a couple of the combat missions on this last one, and I was like, because we're in like the Relic 8-9 portion now, it's mainly just operations and stuff. So I'll see if I needed to do any platooning, and if not, then I'll try to do some battles, probably get my ace kicked, and then yeah, that Dark Side 1 phase 4 is nasty, dude. Holy God, it's so nasty. I just don't have the characters of Relic 8 to go in there and be effective in the dark side yet. So last side I actually do pretty well.
I've been deploying. I mean, I have to say I've been just platooning tons of my people. I platoon all the vital ones and then I deploy. I haven't been doing too many battles. It's, we're not losing out in stars because of it. It's just something that, I don't know. At the moment, I'm just not into the kind of the videos. I'll do the first couple of days, then after a couple of days, and I'm like, okay, I can't be bothered anymore.
What else? Any 3 question for Dr. Afra? What order party are her omicrons? Or does she only need one like Star Killer? Just her leader, as far as I've been told. The other one's nice. Or it's her leader. I've been told you have to have her leader for what that does, right? But other than that, I think the other ones are optional. I'm not sure. I'm not that well in tune, but I do know that fact. I've been told that religiously about her leader. Bobby Samuel question: how are you feeling about the road ahead after a few days? I'm excited. I really am. I love that they're fixing I'm very 95% I'm positive on the road ahead. I'm very excited about the road ahead. I like the changes they're doing to raids a lot. The only 5% that I'm hesitant on is what are they doing with gear, right? That's the one question, rewards. So until we see that, I'm not going to be over the moon about the road ahead. But Kestis coming in, winning, fixing the Tusken faction, and they're bringing in 2 I really enjoyed their characters. And Book of Boba Fett was kind of a miss for me. But the first part of Book of Boba Fett, I really liked that Dances with Wolves feel they had with Boba Fett with the Tuskens. It showed a different light to the Tuskens than we'd seen before, because we always thought them as monsters and killers and all this other stuff, right? I really enjoyed that first part of Book of Boba with that story arc, and I like the warrior. The warrior was funny, and the chieftain just being, I like that they're bringing in there. We're finally, the Tuskens are getting a full squad. God damn it, it's about time. They're overdue. So overall, I'm pretty positive. Aldous, Epic, I'll just go to you first.
I mean, I'm pretty positive. I don't understand why they just don't have a paragraph in there that says, hey guys, and by the way, we're doubling drop rates on Kyrotix on this note. Like, such a tiny little positive little nonsense gear change would go a long way for people going, oh, that's kind of nice, thank you for that. We're going to double eyeball drops. I mean, it would be a drop in the ocean effectively. But yeah, I think it was good. I still haven't really read through the raid thing, but when I think back on the game, I've not hit a raid now for 4 or 5 months, but I've joined every single one. So it's a bit of the game that I never play, I never open, I never do, and yet I'm getting rewards from it. So I can understand how that is it kind of probably did need a bit of a respray. I would rather they resprayed of GAC, and I hope they look at GAC next. But yeah, on the whole, yeah, really good. I think, like I said earlier on, I'm very pleased that they are kind of following Starkiller, and kind of, as far as I can tell, doing a Starkiller number 2 with Cal Kestis, which is good. Because I think Starkiller probably for me is most fun, because you've got the 4 individual characters that go elsewhere as well as the main character. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I mean, and the raid things. I mean, the fact that they've really and I'm noticing this trend in the game. We're getting a little less away from PvP and more into this PvE content, and the PvE content is something that's organic, that can change. They can go in there and change stuff about it and revamp it every 6 months, unlike it was before. And the thing I like about the raid structure is you beat the raid and then you put it on sim. At least with this now, plus you can you don't have to throw the kitchen sink at it. You're not competing against anybody but yourself, right? You can make attempts, and if you don't like the attempt, you can not save it. Remember, we've always been on airplane mode with raids in the past, and then gone back in and had to redo it. Now you don't have to do that. There's a lot of good things that are coming out of this restructuring of how they're doing raids, and I really like it. Again, question about the rewards. We'll see what those are once they get there. I'm hoping they shoot for the moon on this, because that'll make the community, I mean, with all these changes, and then if you get the gear stuff right, I mean, it'll be a really positive change for the game, in my opinion. So, yeah, but there's still more to know. So before we give our final answer on this, I think we need to get some more information like you guys. But I'm very positive on the road ahead. It was a great road ahead. I really liked it. I really like the changes so far.
We kind of called this hilariously when we were talking about raids and doing it in a conquest style, and they can change stuff. I mean,
yeah,
they did it a little differently, but it's kind of funny. I forget how many months ago when we were talking about it, hoping for a new raid and stuff. I really like it. I'm glad it's coming out. Tuskens, I don't care about. I'm doing the one for Java, so we'll see about that. The restrictions of characters is a little weird, but I'm glad you get your own track and you get the guild on. So, I mean, really, this for me, it comes down to how are they can because we can only do one at a time, which is a weird thing, but I get why they're doing that. Is the gear and the shards and everything else going to be at least as much or better? Because, like, if they mess this up, it is going to screw up her whole farming. And if you think like getting to gear 12 and 12 to 13 is bad now, I mean, that could kill the economy if they don't do it right. So that's my only apprehension. Like how it's going to go and doing it and getting all these new ones, all that stuff's great. But I am a little scared about the reward structure. One raid now to rule them all. We're going to have to see that
well, we have to, it's going to come down to rewards, and we'll wait and see. So, yeah. Question for the panel from Helenex. I missed this one. It says, what should wouldn't prioritize to be a good guildie? Improving tunes for the new raid or the new TB or TW? I would say TB. The raid is the raid, and you can still go. You can still. So with the new raid structure, you can go in and do the best you can, and you're going to get rewards, and then you get guild rewards based off how well the guild does. You're not competing against anybody but yourself. You just go in with what you got, do the best you can. There are tiers to the raid now, so the difficulty level can be set so that you're not trying to face the top part of it. So that's really nice too. So depending on where you are or your guild's at for like difficulty, you can set that as well. So there's a lot of flexibility with this stuff. I would say though, we have to look at what the rewards are going to be, but I mean, TW is not where it's at. I mean, it just isn't. TW is just TW. I mean, I'm always like this with TW. If we win, great.
A little bit.
If we win, great. If we yeah.
Just depending where your GP is, and Heli's kind of in the middle. He's 5-6 million, I think. TW does drop a very, very lot of high value rewards. In fact,
but it's 4 times a month, you know, and
yeah. I mean, that's just mean that, you know, it's giving great stuff, but it's rare. New TB, I wouldn't focus on the TB because I think the TB just through deploying, you get decent stuff. I don't know. Of those three, I think they're all pretty much even. I might lean towards TW personally, but not by much. Maybe new raid. I don't know.
The new TB working toward characters for that with the rewards for that, and maybe, then the raids, because that's where you're gonna get a lot of your stuff. You know so yeah.
At least 8 million. Wow.
Oh, yeah. All right. What else? 3 question. Can Afra and the gang still beat Jabba without her lead Omicron? Oh, no, I don't think so. You got to have that. The Datacron's really helpful in that too. Especially if you can get the Scoundrel level 6, because if you're facing Jabba, you just kill Chrysanthemum. He ain't reviving. But yeah, I think you need the Omicron, if I'm not mistaken, to take on Jabba. Yeah, I don't think you can. Yeah. Yeah, let's not try that. I mean, if you want to try for science, what else? 3? I know you're a brave soul, but holy dog shit, no. Oh God, no. That might not go good, especially if they've got the Datacron on. Oh God. Bobby Samuel question: what would you like to see different in GAC? Oh God, one thing and one thing only. Just get rid of Datacrons. I'm so sick of them. I'm over them. They need to go. They're trash. I'm just done with Datacrons. The other thing too I'd like to see in GAC: stop squishing us to death. This is getting ridiculous. You know, I'm just GAC has lost all luster for me. I still do it mainly because we have fun doing it with the community, but it's not something like I used to with the game mode where I'm like, oh, this is a lot of fun. There's a lot of blah blah blah. It's all gone out the wayside. It's just like I can't just get rid of Datacrons. We have enough shit we have to put on with Omicrons and Zetas and mods, and we have to farm all this shit, and then to get to work on Datacrons as well and what they do to teams and make them. They've been so brutal. Some of the effects these Datacrons have had on battles, right? Those would be my 2 things. Look at the squishing. What the hell you're doing? Because you're kicking everybody out of Kyber 1. Maybe that's your intention. I don't know, but I mean, I've said I went 6-3, 6-3, 5-4, and I'm in Kyber 2. Out of Kyber 1. So not good. You know, so
I'm less bothered about Datacrons. I mean, my list is limit it to 10 teams offense, 10 teams defense. Slim it down, don't make it so long, don't make it so arduous, don't make it so hard. And to do that, I would revise the scoring system, and I might move to a scoring system of like, okay, if the person has 170 million GP defense, and I have or 170,000 team, and I beat it with an 80,000 team, then I get 90,000 points or something. I think we need to look at that kind of that points per thing. Stop them. Oh my God, I know they're going to do it. I know they're lazily going to just give us another 3 or 4 teams to do. I pray to God they don't, but I know they're going to.
Yeah.
But oh my God, I think they really need to stop that. Change it. Slim it down to 10 teams on defense, 10 teams on offense, or you can, or basically everyone would end up full clearing, but different scores, and hide the scores. It doesn't need to be. I'm sick and tired of people waiting till the last hour to attack because it's such an advantage. Just make the score blind. I mean, my opponent doesn't. They can see their score. They don't need to see my score. Just make it blind.
Yeah, I like the blind thing. I think that would be cool. You'll know after the end whether you won or lost, so you have to give it your effort. But I think the 10 team would not work for Upper Kyber and stuff because they've got so many teams now that they need to expand it a little bit because there's so much. It's so limiting, especially in 5s, right? 3's not so much, but 5's.
Imagine there was a way that certain teams were very good on defense and certain teams were very good on offense. It would mean that people would be more strategic, and like the smarter people that are modded right and can strip an extra, say, 5 seconds, depending on I'm talking about them totally revamping the points for a battle. So that it's no longer just, okay, full protection, full this, full that. It actually changes to how quickly you cleared the team or what the GP difference between your team and their team was. Like, it totally changes things.
I'm open to the ideas, but yeah. But the way it's currently working right now, I mean, JC can kiss my ass. Oh my God. Affinity question is someone that hasn't followed but is curious. When was the last time they did a dev Q&A? An actual dev Q&A? They haven't done one of those in a while. They do for each thing that they've been releasing now, they do a Q&A, dev Q&A, if you want to call it that, developer Q&A. So everything they put out, you can ask questions, and they put those as part of the kit, or they'll put as part of the post where people can ask questions about each thing that's coming out. So they haven't had like a big just here's everything dev Q&A, but they've been doing individually for like each character or stuff that's been coming into the game. So hope that answers your question, Finn. Some of those questions actually are insightful, and then some are like, who's the pilot of this ship? And I just want to punch somebody. Like, oh my God, that was the question. Oh my God. What else in 3? Would it be better if they allowed datacrons for PvE stuff? Would they be worth the pain then? That would be a little bit different, because that would be interesting. Datacrons for PvE. Think about that. Where you could use it, say, like in Conquest or TB and stuff. They're not going to do that because they're just not going to. But it would make it a lot more interesting. People would definitely be more interested in investing in datacrons for raids and stuff like that if they were a thing. But they're not going to. I think it's just tied into GAC. It would be nice, but I don't think they're going to. All this Epic, I just there's no scenario where I think the datacrons would ever be something that they add for PvE.
No, because it would allow you to clear things that you shouldn't be able to clear, and then 3-star them, potentially then be simmable, but you don't actually have the team to ever do it again. So no, I think yeah, they're not. They wouldn't do it. It would be fun. Because it would kind of nerf them. I mean, you got to remember, I think this is the key of the point, is that datacrons and people spending on datacrons is us fighting with ourselves as a community. It's not actually trying to get over something that CG are in charge of. So, you know, I think it is a community attitude thing. You know, if everybody stopped spending on datacrons tomorrow, and I know they won't, but if everyone just kind of withdrew back or pulled back or found its own level, then it will find its own level as a community. I certainly don't spend on them, and in fact, for me, they're getting out of hand. I kind of farm more than I can ever put on now, and they're getting more and more R9s, more and more R8s. But yeah, no, it would never come for what they do.
Yeah. Epic, you want to say anything?
Nope, hate them.
Okay. Nathaniel Morgan.
At least the last conquest, when I spent a few crystals, I did get a bunch of them. So, like it seems like they did change the drop rate in conquest, which is good because I went from a couple of them. You know, I didn't do a ton of attempts, but I did extra ones on them and got none. To I did get a truckload this last time, so we'll see. I don't know. You know.
They're here for right now. They're not going anywhere. And
Yeah, I did
Killing
a few up
JC.
to 6 and 3, and that's all I do.
Nathaniel Morgan question: will GL Leia and more Ewoks make Finn return? I don't think so. I don't think Finn's ever coming. You never want to say never, but I just don't see a scenario with Finn. Even if we get all the Ewoks he ever wanted and Leia, because who doesn't love Leia? I don't think Finnadoodle's coming back anytime soon. That's just my opinion. Finn can speak for himself.
I have to say, with the advent of Datacrons, it's making it a very, very difficult presentation because it has got so technical now, and there's so many new stuff that you need to kind of do. It's very hard to put on a GAC presentation these days, so it's not something that I would.
Well, you have to get into the minutia. You have to look at, okay, this is the teams,
exactly.
first of all, that I'm facing. What's the Datacron? Okay, what do I have, and how can I go get, beat this? I mean, some of it's standard. Like, you're going to see, if you see Jabba, you're going to go use JMK with your Scoundrel Datacron. But some of the other teams are like, Jesus, what's this Datacron? Oh, shit. Okay, that's going to suck. What do I use here? You sit there for about 15 minutes, like, debating what the hell do you do here with some of these Datacrons. It's really, it can really melt your brain.
And there's something, there's one thing that people don't particularly like in a presentation is somebody's sitting there reading minutiae for 20 minutes. But, it's like, it's not easy now. And I would say that, my hat goes off to everyone that does it because it is difficult.
Yeah, it really is. Hellenix says, do the hills of Scotland have wild cats? And does Aldous hail from a long line of cat herders? I'm a scruffy looking nerf herder myself. Really, Hellenix? Just no. Stop, Ellie. Hurting the nerfs. Get out of here. Don't hashtag that. You just did, didn't you? All right. Contingent question. What is a Datacron and why do people get them? Yeah.
They're a team mod and they're too OP is the answer to that question.
I saw one the other day I faced Solace. I'm not kidding you. I had like 400% defense on it. It was ridiculous, dude. It was like, what the hell are they doing this? Oh my god.
I got hit by an infinite loop this morning that wiped my SLKR team. And I'm like, okay, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, we get hit with a ninth sister TM gain when she kills somebody,
Yes.
and I actually took SLKR with zombie in there, and no, she just went, and Piet was in there as well, so she ended up killing the entire team. It was a ninth sister basic solo. Just absolutely ridiculous, some of them, but ridiculous for me, not necessarily in a bad way, in kind of a fun cartoon way, if I'm honest. I don't mind them. I always say that Datacrons are like my children. I love them, and I will never gamble them for better ones. And that's and I would encourage people, just don't spend them. Just get what you get, use them where you use them, and enjoy
just focus,
them. And...
if you're going to focus on Conquest, you'll get a lot of materials from that, especially if you're farming, which you're kind of forced to. Those notes for Datacron, because these feats are so stupid, man. It's just, and they of course they went back in and took care of the mini boss in Sector 3, so now we have to really grind out blind and Masters training. I'm convinced these people are just, they don't play this game at a high level, because if you saw those feats and you saw the mechanics work, you would not make us have to sit there and do that shit over and over and over again. That's just what takes that's what takes the fun out of Conquest. I like the fights, and I like using certain teams and then climb, and certain feats are okay. But when you have something like that, Masters training that many times? Really? Have you played this game? Do you know how hard it is to get one, let alone two master training in a fight on? Like, it's just asinine. Oh, they do some stupid stuff.
I get about 10. I use the if you stick the master's training onto zombie, every time they kill zombie, Hoda gets another turn because of the Zeta, and you stick it back on zombie, they kill zombie again, Hoda gets another turn, you stick it back on zombie. You can grind out about 10 or 15, so that one's not too bad, but it is one of the ridiculous cheese teams.
But yeah, it's just one of those things where we try to find cheese, and as soon as we do, they take it away, and it's like, okay, kiss my ass.
Yeah. Well, I think, to be honest, that's another thing that having us all kind of, a lot of people got the red crate, it doesn't matter anymore. We can all skip those 3, get the second crate, and we'll still get the character.
Yeah, instead of 3 months, you get it 4 or 5 months. Yeah, that's fine.
Well, no, you still get it in 3. You can go 1 red crate and then 2 second tops, and you get the, as long as you take the 999 pass. So I don't know. I think the horse is already bolted. Taking away now is ridiculous. It's not like this ever comes back, so that we do this for 5-6 months. That's it. This, as far as I'm concerned, this conquest is effectively done. Now we're just through the tail end of it, farming the last few shards, doing a couple more. But yeah.
All right, we'll do a couple questions here, and then I got to start wrapping it up because I've got to get ready to go do my GAC with Boss. At the top of the hour, we're going to do that over on Twitch, so you're more than welcome to come join us. Remember, tonight we'll be doing D&D, excuse me. Contingent question. What is a... No, we already did that one. Snakes 1594 question. Best 3 GAC defense to put down besides Profundity and Executor. The team I currently run on defense, and I may switch this up, but I usually do pretty well. We had bad RNG on the ships last time, but usually I can still clear ships. Well, we still cleared them. I couldn't one shot for the win. But like, I put Negotiator and Executor down because I want 2 strong fleets. I see some people put Profundity down. I don't like putting Profundity down on defense because you can get so many good banners with that ship when you do it. I mean, that's a 72 to 75 win with Profundity, right? What do I got down? I've got Negotiator, I've got Empire, and I've got Executor down. And you can see different combinations of that. Now, you can go full FU and go, I mean, if you really want to be just nasty, Profundity, Executor, and either Negotiator or Empire. But that's oh boy. Twitch should be linked in the here, I'll pull it up here for you guys. But Twitch should be in the description, linked to all our channels and stuff.
And I would go the triple attack or Executor lineup because it's way more dangerous.
Yeah, I do that too. Yeah, I put that on defense.
So yeah, don't go the standard one. Go the 3 triple attacker, triple attacker, Negotiator, and Profundity, or really just, I don't know, Malevolence. Actually, apparently, a lot of people are running that. I know it's mostly an attacking team, but yeah, it can get a bit weird in defense though.
All right, a couple quick ones, and then we're gonna start wrapping it up. Next serious question for the panel: are the Geonosians good when brought to Relic 7 outside the new TB? I'm thinking about taking a Relic 7, but dang, I don't want to. Don't bother. Don't bother. Other than the ships, relics on the ships characters is fine, but for TB, that mission, I mean, combat missions in TB are not where it's at. It's operations, right? So it's about deployment and strategic. You do want to do some combat missions, but like the special missions like Geonosians or Dr. Afro, you can get away with not doing that and still be fine. I would, other than maybe ships, your soldier, your spy, your Sunfac, they all, the higher relic better for your fleet, but I wouldn't go ham on that, brother.
I would say that GBA is an incredible utility tank, and you can toss him into just about any lineup. So yeah, even if you just stick him in a Lord Vader team or a Darth Revan team, he can be quite good for getting feats as well. So GBA is probably the only one I would take to R7 if I was to do it again today.
Last question we're going to do, and then I'm going to let these guys pimp their stuff, and then we're going to go do some GAC on Twitch. OBZ, our good friend Big O, says, just finished jobbing, now my head's spinning with all this news. My guild isn't close to sniffing Reva shards. Should I push for Afra, new raid teams, GL Lord Vader, or Passion Farms until the next road ahead? I wouldn't worry. Not close to sniffing Reva shards. Okay. So if we're not that, I mean, not Inquisitors. I wouldn't go hard on the Tuscans yet. Afra you really don't need. If a couple people in your guild have Afra, then you're good for TV. I'm in that situation where Dr. Afra she's just not needed. I mean, I'm slow farming it. I will get her eventually, but this new TB is all about your relics on your characters. I mean, honestly, that's where it's at. Like, I'm relicing 7 the shit out of my dark side right now, because that's just through phase 3. That's what you have to do. 1 for deployment, right? For operations, and 2 to do some of the combat missions to help get you to those stars. So that might be something you may want to consider, is maybe pick some of those teams and stuff in TB that you're looking to use that maybe they're just relic 5 right now, pushing into relic 7, not relic 8. Don't worry about relic 8 and 9. That's something way down the line, and you need to save that shit for GLs in case they announce it, right? But you have to pick one between Lord Vader, not Afra. You could just get your Inquisitors done just to get it done, because eventually you will have to go for Reva. Not my favorite choice. You could wait and just go Cal Kestis. He's going to be needed for the new TB, and if you're looking for something fun, I'd say don't worry about the Tuscans. Go Cal Kestis. Go work on that. Save your GL Lord Vader till the end. I mean, he's great, but once you commit to Lord Vader, forever will it control your destiny. The 4 relegates and shit on that day, it is ridiculous. Bad Batch and the Kyrtex and getting them to Relic 5, and then all the other shit with Relic 7 and 8 on that character is just gross. So, yeah. I don't know, what do you guys think? We'll wrap it up with your final thoughts on this one. And they don't have any final thoughts. Okay, there we go.
I was waiting for Epic. For once, I was waiting for Epic. I agree with you. I think, yeah, I'd potentially just wait. I'd wait and start. It depends. I don't really know BZ's roster, if I'm honest. Therefore, it's hard to kind of say do this, do that. Depending, I think I'm interested in Merrin, what she'll do to the Night Sisters. I think new raid teams do make sense. So farming Tuscans and actually getting the last few Tuscans up are not too bad. You've just got Jabba, so I think you have one of the Tuscans. Yeah, there's a lot in there, but I don't really know the roster. But I potentially at the moment, if that was the list, I might be tempted to chill.
Or you could be waiting to see. I mean, yeah, there's a few options here. All right, I'm getting the Twitch set up right now, so changing the title. So we'll go get ready here in about 10 minutes to go do GAC. Yeah, the Inquisitor Farm's not fun either. All right, all the Sunflower, the best Sunfly around in the beach. Where can folks be checking you out, Sunflower?
Welcome to Sandflies on Twitch and indeed on YouTube, but we stream GAC on Twitch, and we do it however many hours ago. We do it 8 hours ago.
It was a while ago, yeah.
And so the UK morning. But yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you for having me on. Always good.
Always a pleasure. Yeah, we'll do lunch Zoom, Boss Live R. Yeah, well, I'll switch Zooms here in a couple minutes. So yeah, we'll be in the lunch. And then Epic Fails. Where can folks check you out up there, Home Slice?
Yeah, it's Epic Fails at YouTube, but go check everybody else out. I haven't done a lot lately. I'm still working on a computer and stuff, but hopefully sometime soon. I do have some stuff saved on my edit about Rose Deco and the hard C pit when I first got her up, which was fun. But
done, Will. All right, and do me a favor, guys. I always say this at the end of the stream. Check out these other great content creators. Show them some love. Go watch their stuff. Watch their videos. Participate. Just it's the easiest way to show your appreciation for them coming here in the U.S. a Saturday morning to sit here for 2 hours and answer your questions. You know, they do it on their own time and their own dime. So if you want to show some appreciation for these awesome folks, then no matter who it is on the panel, please do me a favor. Go subscribe to their stuff. Watch their videos. Hit the thumbs up. Interact with their things. That's the easiest way to say thank you for these guys and all the stuff that they do for the community and what they do here. And then here, same thing. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, watch all our crap. It does really help and make a difference. With that, I think we're going to start wrapping up. Remember, we're getting ready to go do GAC over on Twitch, and then tonight I'll be back at 8 Eastern, 7, whatever it'll be tonight. We'll be doing some D&D. So if you want to go watch some D&D, yeah, and then you can go check out all the others, the other great content we're putting. So with that, I think we can call this one done. So on behalf of myself and the panel, thanks everyone for hanging out. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And if I don't see you soon, see you when I see you. The Force be with you.